The story of England begins long before England existed. For centuries, the island we now call Great Britain was home to various Celtic tribes. These tribes had their own languages and customs.
Then, in 43 AD, the Roman Empire arrived. The Romans, with their legions and engineering prowess, conquered much of southern Britain. Roman rule lasted for nearly 4 centuries. They built roads, baths and cities, leaving an indelible mark on the landscape. However, the Romans never fully conquered the whole island. Tribes in the north resisted Roman power.
By the 5th century AD, the Roman Empire was weakening. They withdrew their legions from Britain, leaving a power vacuum. Into this vacuum came new arrivals from mainland Europe, the Anglo-Saxons. These were Germanic peoples from areas we now call Denmark, Germany and the Netherlands. The Anglo-Saxons were not a unified force, but rather a collection of different groups.
They established their own kingdoms, gradually pushing westwards across Britain. By the 7th century, most of what is now England was divided into Anglo-Saxon kingdoms: Northumbria, Mercia, Wessex, East Anglia, Essex, Kent and Sussex. These kingdoms often warred with each other, vying for power and influence. It was during this period that Christianity began to take hold in England, replacing the old pagan beliefs.
The Anglo-Saxon kingdoms were not destined for lasting peace. In the late 8th century, a new threat emerged from across the North Sea: the Vikings. The Vikings, hailing from Scandinavia, were skilled seafarers and fierce warriors. Initially, they came to raid coastal settlements, plundering monasteries and towns.
However, the Viking raids soon turned into something more permanent. Viking armies began to conquer territory, establishing their own settlements and eventually controlling large parts of England. Only the Kingdom of Wessex, under kings like Alfred the Great, managed to resist the Viking advance. Alfred and his successors fought back against the Vikings, eventually pushing them back and reuniting much of England under the rule of Wessex.
This Anglo-Saxon revival was short-lived. In 1066, another contender for the English throne arrived: William, Duke of Normandy. William, claiming to be the rightful heir to the English crown, invaded England with a Norman army. The Battle of Hastings, fought on October 14, 1066, was a decisive moment in English history. William's victory over the English king, Harold Godwinson, marked the end of Anglo-Saxon rule. William the Conqueror, as he became known, brought about significant changes to England. He established a new ruling class, speaking Norman French and bringing with them continental European customs. Castles were built across the land to consolidate Norman power. The Norman conquest had a profound impact on English language, culture and society. The centuries that followed saw England transformed. Medieval England was a period of great castles, soaring cathedrals, and the signing of the Magna Carta in 1215, a document that limited the power of the monarchy and established the principle of law even for the king. England also faced challenges, such as the Black Death in the 14th century, a devastating plague that swept across Europe and killed millions. By the 15th century, England had emerged as a major power in Europe. The Wars of the Roses, a series of dynastic conflicts between the houses of York and Lancaster, had weakened the nobility, allowing the Tudor dynasty to come to power in 1485 with the accession of Henry VII. The Tudor period was a time of significant change, particularly in the realm of religion. Henry VIII, who became king in 1509, is perhaps most famous for his 6 wives. However, his break with the Catholic Church and the establishment of the Church of England had far-reaching consequences.
Henry's desire for a male heir and his annulment from his first wife, Catherine of Aragon, led to a clash with the Pope in Rome. In 1534, Henry declared himself supreme head of the Church of England, separating the English Church from papal authority. This act triggered the English Reformation, a tumultuous period of religious upheaval. Henry's children, Edward VI, Mary I, and Elizabeth I, all ruled England in turn, each with their own religious policies. Edward VI continued his father's Protestant reforms, while Mary I, a devout Catholic, attempted to restore Catholicism to England. Her reign, marked by the persecution of Protestants, earned her the nickname Bloody Mary.
Elizabeth I, who came to the throne in 1558, sought a middle ground, establishing a Church of England that was both Protestant in doctrine and moderate in practice. Section 5, Civil War and the Restoration of Monarchy. Elizabeth I's reign is often seen as a golden age for England. It was a time of exploration, with explorers like Sir Francis Drake circumnavigating the globe. English literature flourished, with William Shakespeare writing his plays during this era. However, the religious and political tensions that had been simmering beneath the surface erupted into open conflict in the 17th century. Elizabeth I died childless in 1603. She was succeeded by her cousin James VI of Scotland, who became James I of England, uniting the crowns of England and Scotland under one monarch. James I's son and successor, Charles I, clashed with Parliament over issues of religion and royal power. This conflict ultimately led to the English Civil War, which broke out in 1642. The Civil War pitted the Royalists, who supported the king, against the Parliamentarians, led by Oliver Cromwell. The Parliamentarians were victorious, and Charles I was executed in 1649. England became a republic, the Commonwealth of England, under the leadership of Oliver Cromwell. Cromwell, a devout Puritan, imposed strict moral codes and abolished the monarchy and the House of Lords. Section 6, Towards Union, Scotland, England and the Acts of Union. After Cromwell's death in 1658, the Commonwealth crumbled and the monarchy was restored in 1660 with the return of Charles II, the son of Charles I. Charles II's reign saw a period of relative stability and a return to more relaxed social customs after the austerity of the Commonwealth. However, the religious and political divisions that had plagued England in the first half of the 17th century remained. Charles II died in 1685 and was succeeded by his brother James II. James II, a Catholic, was determined to promote Catholicism in England. This alarmed many Protestants, and in 1688 James II was deposed in the Glorious Revolution. William of Orange, a Protestant prince from the Netherlands, and his wife Mary, James II's daughter, were invited by Parliament to become joint monarchs of England. The Glorious Revolution had profound implications for the future of England. It established the supremacy of Parliament over the monarchy and affirmed the Protestant character of the English throne. It also paved the way for the Acts of Union in 1707, which formally united the kingdoms of England and Scotland to create the Kingdom of Great Britain. Section 7, the British Empire and the Industrial Revolution. The 18th century was a period of immense change for Great Britain. The British Empire, already expanding in the Americas and the Caribbean, grew to encompass vast territories in Asia, Africa, and the Pacific. Britain became a global superpower, its wealth and influence built on trade, naval power, and colonialism.
This period also saw the dawn of the Industrial Revolution. Britain was at the forefront of this technological and economic transformation. New inventions such as the steam engine and the power loom revolutionized manufacturing and transportation. Factories sprang up in cities like Manchester and Birmingham, drawing people from the countryside and leading to unprecedented urbanization. The Industrial Revolution brought about both progress and problems. It created wealth and new opportunities, but also led to pollution, poverty, and social unrest. The 19th century was a time of great social and political reform in Britain, as people grappled with the consequences of industrialization and sought to address issues such as child labor, working conditions, and political representation.
Section 8, the 20th century, wars, decolonization and modernity. The 20th century was a tumultuous period for Britain and the world. Britain was a major player in both World War I and World War II, conflicts that reshaped the global order and had a profound impact on British society. The wars led to social and economic changes, including the expansion of women's rights and the growth of the welfare state. After World War II, the British Empire, already weakened by the war, began to unravel as colonies across Asia, Africa, and the Caribbean gained their independence. India, the jewel in the crown of the British Empire, achieved independence in 1947. The process of decolonization was often complex and challenging, marked by both peaceful transitions and violent conflicts. Britain also played a key role in the formation of the European Economic Community, the precursor to the European Union, in the 1950s. However, Britain's relationship with Europe has often been ambivalent, marked by periods of both engagement and skepticism. The UK joined the EEC in 1973, but voted to leave the European Union in 2016, a decision known as Brexit. Section 9. The United Kingdom today, a tapestry of history. The United Kingdom today is a product of its long and complex history. It is a country with a rich cultural heritage, shaped by centuries of migration, conquest, and interaction with the wider world. The UK is a constitutional monarchy with Queen Elizabeth II as head of state and a parliamentary democracy. The UK faces challenges in the 21st century, including economic inequality, social divisions, and the legacy of its colonial past. However, it remains a country with a global outlook, a vibrant cultural scene, and a commitment to democracy and the rule of law. From its Roman roots to its Anglo-Saxon heritage, from the Norman conquest to the Industrial Revolution, from the British Empire to the modern era, the history of the United Kingdom is a tapestry woven from countless threads, each contributing to the unique character of the nation today.